and welcome to the Talkin Bits podcast. It's your host, Michael Rose, and with me is the other host, Nathaniel Boer, also known as Banana Head.
Yeah, that's thanks again.
You're welcome.
We get into that on the episode.
Very early, don't worry.
That's a nickname that I was gifted by my niece, who's 6.
And I love it. I think that's a very accurate description of you.
I hate bananas. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I hate them, and she knows that.
And that's why I love it.
Yeah.
So
that's probably how he'll introduce me every episode moving forward.
I might
a fair warning.
just do like variations of it, like I don't know.
Yeah.
Banana nose. I don't know. Fuck.
Plantain skull. All right,
Plantain
moving
skull.
on.
Anyway, this was a fun episode. We had a returning guest with us, Michael Mullen.
That's right. First time on video in the studio.
Yes,
we learned.
Yes. He was on the live from Blue Ridge thing. There's a person sitting at my front doorbell. That's not a big deal. But anyway, he was on the live from Blue Ridge. He was on an episode a while ago, but it was a great episode, I thought.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We talk about some comedy legends, the loss of Bob Newhart. We touch on older comedy from the 30s and 40s. There's a little talk about Kill Tony in there too. There's
bullying,
some recent stuff. Bullying,
time travel,
cancer, you name it. Autism, we hit it all.
Yeah,
we really covered it all. On this.
We really
That's
did.
True. No, we talk about famous voices in comedy that aren't necessarily stand-ups too, or not known for stand-up, like Judd Apatow, Conan. Yep. There's a lot of fun discussions that comedians love to have behind closed doors. So that's what this show is about. So this is a good one.
It was fun. Yep. We liked it. Well, guys, enjoy the episode.
Yep. We'll see you next week for a very special episode. Very, very, very special episode.
I think it is next week. You're right.
It sure is. We got 1 week. So everybody tune in next week as well and enjoy this one.
Like,
with
subscribe, do the stuff. We love you.
Yep. Bye.
And we are back with Michael Mullen, returning guest, first time on the camera.
Yeah.
Hey, there we go.
First time seeing your pretty little face. That's exciting.
Yeah. I've literally never seen him before.
You never seen his face before?
Never.
He always looks at your shoes when he's talking.
Yeah. I do like your shoes.
It's an autism thing.
Hey, my eyes are up here, buddy. Okay.
Those are nice shoes, though. I kind of want them. Same size? Maybe. Doesn't matter. But no, we are back.
I'll take a guess.
This motherfucker's going
Not
to steal my
size.
shoes.
we are back. It's Michael Mullen, Michael Rose, and Banana Head.
That's right. Yeah, I'm so glad that I shared that with you. That was
you should have kept your mouth shut.
I really should have.
Dude, the second you said Banana Head, I'm like, I'm calling him that immediately.
That was a nickname that was given to me by my 6-year-old niece, and it seems that Michael's on that same maturity level. So that will be my nickname from now on.
Banana Head. Anyway, Michael Mullen. It's been a while since you've been on the show. Welcome back.
Thanks for having me. Yeah.
We've changed up some stuff.
We're official. We have a sign with our name on it now.
Shit,
That's pretty scary.
We do.
Yeah.
We do.
It's crazy what you can find on Amazon.
It's crazy what like $40 will do.
2-day delivery on a custom sign.
He's so right. It got there much quicker than I anticipated.
Listen, the slave labor in Amazon is strong.
That's
true.
true.
I tell you.
That's
proud
true.
of how fast they can internationally ship stuff. Anyway,
they're actually a sponsor for this show, so let's not.
Let's not go into.
It's Prime Week. It's Prime Week right now.
What's been new with you, man?
Not much, man. I've been doing shows. I've done some L.A. Preston shows. Those were killer. Loved them. Did the final weekend for the old building.
Yeah.
That was a killer show.
Yeah, that's true. So Michael technically has been on since we've been doing video because he was on the So Long State Street
I was
episode.
on that one. Yeah.
Just
My
not
bad.
in the studio.
Yeah.
We had so many fun guests on that episode, but I mean, that night was a special night, I think, for a lot of us, especially for me because there was actually a Saturday show after that, but I had don't tell. So that Friday was kind of like my final goodbye. I did like one round around the room and said bye to everybody and said bye to the supply closet where I used to
green room.
Watch Jared cough his head off. Yeah.
The old green room. Have you been to the new club? Did you go to the Mic on one today?
Yeah, I did.
Did you go?
No, I didn't.
No, I didn't either.
I went. It is an awesome space.
Cool.
It has no AC right now.
Yeah.
It is hot as church in there.
That's what I heard.
It's a brutally warm summer for there not to be AC right now.
Man, and on stage is worse. Like
with the lights hitting you.
I was up there just sweating bullets, and I don't sweat on stage.
Yeah.
But
so hot. Yeah,
it's way too high.
It's tough. We had a Don't Tell show that same Saturday when they had a different show, and I thought there was no AC there either, and it was rough. It was just a rough time of year.
Weren't you in a yoga studio?
Yeah, I don't know why my brain didn't find any issue with that at all.
Was it hot yoga?
Yeah, I was about to ask, is it hot yoga studio?
No, but it was for us. It was hot comedy.
You should do. There's a hot yoga studio in John City. You should do a show there in the hot room with the heat turned up.
I don't even want to go near that.
Have you guys ever done hot yoga?
No,
I've never done yoga.
Dude, it's rough.
I've never been hot.
Yeah,
that's true. Banana head be chilly. That's stupid.
You almost had it. Yeah,
I did. How many people were at the first open mic?
Not that many.
I heard it was a low turnout.
It was a low turnout.
Well, Knoxville had shows. There was a couple other things going on. I had a roast battle.
I think there were 10 of us that went on stage. So I know Hunter Pruitt, Joe Bridges, Meredith Kerr.
That's a good.
Peyton.
Yeah, it's
me.
Great. Everybody that needed to be there was there. Honestly,
yeah.
So.
I wanted to go. I don't remember what happened. That was 4 days ago.
I think you just suck, don't you?
I think so.
Yeah.
That's
it.
I'm not funny anymore.
Well, some would argue you never were. So,
all right. No.
That's
Talking bits, everybody. All right.
I'm grumpy. I haven't slept in weeks. I'm so fucking tired.
Nathaniel is. Never mind. Go ahead. What's up?
I had to pick up my parents last night from the airport because they got stranded in Florida due to the cyber attacks. They're all the flights were grounded.
What an attack!
Okay, I have.
That's what they're calling it.
I have.
That was a
that.
glitch.
Yeah. Okay. So that was CrowdStrike, and it was a bug.
Yeah.
When they pushed out their new patch, and
whatever
they didn't test it in a safe environment first. So yeah, CrowdStrike fucked the entire planet.
So you're saying something was manufactured and manipulated in a lab and then was leaked and caused chaos across the globe?
Do you really think
that happens?
Do you think software updates are manufactured in a lab?
You know what we should do? We should put masks on all our computers until this thing resolves.
Put what? Masks? Fucking idiot.
Oh man, no,
I couldn't even get that out.
Listen, this
I'm
is
done.
This has fucked up our house personally.
It fucked up my job, and I'm not even.
Oh, dude, don't even start with me.
Oh, you working? Yeah,
my entire 8 hours was I can't get to my fucking money.
Okay.
Where's my money?
My wife handles the IT infrastructure for the entire state of Virginia.
R.I.P. to your wife's mental health.
It's not there anymore. Her mental health is done.
It's
dude.
She has been working 48 hours total for the last
50 hours. Yeah. She's probably taking.
She is working right
8
now.
days a week.
Yeah.
Since
Dude,
this happened.
I have a buddy who's in lending, and we had some issues with some closings and shit that we had to do on Friday, and I thought. He's alive. He won a golf tournament yesterday, but it was up in the air because he was going through it on Friday.
It was rough. Rough. So their plane got grounded, and they were like, no flights, and there was just thousands of people, and they were like, come back at 2 p.m. Well, I would imagine that most people would assume, let's just stay here. That way, whenever this massive line starts to form, we'll be in it.
Yeah.
My parents went to the mall for a while, and they got back right on time at 2 to find all the flights were already gone. So they had to stay an extra night in Florida and then fly into Asheville last night. So at 7 hours ago, I picked them up in Asheville or something crazy. They landed
3 in the morning?
Yeah.
4 in the morning?
They landed at 12:30, I think. So I was home about 3 in the
morning. Oh, man.
Damn. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it didn't affect me that much because whatever.
It was rough.
Comedy. You said you've been doing some LA. You said you've been doing some LA Preston shows.
Yeah.
He
LA's
does
great.
Mid-Virginia, right?
Yeah. I did Salem. I did All Sports in Salem, and Ursula's in Roanoke. And
how was
Ursula's? Ursula's was really fun. It's a weird place because it's a place where you wouldn't expect comedy.
Sure. Yeah.
Because of the storefront.
It's a cafe, right?
Yeah. It's a cafe, a little hipster, new agey kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Really cool people. But the show was at 3 p.m. And I was the only comedian that was a feature because it was for a competition, and only one person showed up for the competition.
Oh, so he won then?
Yeah, he won.
That's cool.
Yeah, he won. And then I went up and did 16 minutes.
That's great.
Yeah.
So how many comics were on this show?
Me.
Oh. And how long did the guy in the competition do?
He did 5 minutes. LA did some time too. LA opened
all
the show.
In all, though.
All in all, it was
30-minute show?
Yeah, a 30-minute show. But it was fun.
And at least you only had to drive 6 hours round trip for that. That's awesome.
Well, I had the coffee pot the same day.
Oh, same. Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
that works out.
I had coffee pot at 8 p.m. And listen, all sports and coffee pot are a goddamn time void. Because you can still smoke in both those places.
Oh my God.
Which is wild.
I got to move there. That's fucking amazing.
Dude, I don't smoke, but I love being in a bar where people were smoking.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is.
I haven't been in a bar that you can smoke in years.
Dude, Tipton's
is still going strong. They have a cigarette vending machine in there.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
and it's like $10 a pack.
Yeah.
But it's so expensive. But that smell when you walk in there, you're like,
yeah, it gets on your fries.
Dude, it's
nicotine fries.
Well, that's all sports too, because the room you perform in is a smoking room.
I love it,
awesome.
man.
And
it's one of those non-smoking and smoking places.
Yeah,
that shit's so funny, dude.
The smoking room is isolated in the back.
Yeah.
Like you have to go through a set of double doors.
Yeah, I'm sure that stops the cigarette
Oh,
smoke.
Kinda.
Double doors might, dude.
Yeah.
My favorite was there was a restaurant in Bristol when I was a kid. It's actually where my friend's axe throwing place is now,
Yeah.
Mother Chuckers. The restaurant was just called Mother's. That's why they named it that.
Oh, yeah.
And it was called Mother's Restaurant. And it was, you would walk in and all the booths to the right were smoking and all the booths to the left were non-smoking. And it's one giant room.
Man.
And you're like, this is not how smoke works. Like, it's very clearly not going to work.
I don't know what it is about like a restaurant with cigarette smoke, and it's just like, and I hate cigarette smoke, but I love
it. Just takes you back.
It does. Like dirty diners, it's still allows smoking.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I wish you could smoke in a Waffle House, honestly.
It feels like you can.
Listen, if you can throw hands, you can smoke in it.
That's true.
I wish I that's a weird wish, but I do wish nothing more than like you could just walk into Waffle House.
We should
and
petition for that.
I'm
with you.
I remember Burger King having smoking, and they had the Burger King ashtrays.
Oh hell yeah!
You know,
that's fucking dope.
Yeah.
When did they ban smoking from places? It was not long
Early
ago.
2000s.
Because I feel like I have really vivid memories of it.
You
but
know
I'm
what's
like,
funny?
am I
Me
old
saying that on this recording, there's somebody listening in California right now who's like, "We put that out in the '70s. What the fuck are you talking about?" Like, yeah, we waited a while.
Listen, we're
California
behind the
listening.
times here. Don't worry about it.
Dude, I wish I could have been on a plane whenever people were smoking. I don't know, just for the
that's crazy too.
Just like that feels wrong. Like, what about like if they start to fire?
Well,
you know
they're
what I
also
mean?
like in their suits. Like people used to get in 3-piece suits to go fly.
Yeah,
and they were like little wicker loose chairs, like lawn chairs, just sitting in the tube.
Yeah, like flammable.
Yeah,
I wonder.
Perfectly. Flammable.
I wonder how many flights came down due to smoking.
None that I'm aware of. Oddly
enough, in the 70s, you had to worry more about hijackers taking your plane.
That's true.
Than anything else,
That's true. Right up to the early 2000s. So
something happened.
Yeah.
We
I don't know.
We kind of nipped that in the bud.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if we nipped it in the bud. It was already bloomed.
You see something, say something. Am I right?
We nipped it after it died. Yeah.
Dude, I do not like a hotel room that smells like cigarette smoke though, because it's stale.
There was a burger place when I grew up in Virginia Beach where this like 100-year-old lady owned it, and it was a tiny little shack basically. But she would smoke while she was grilling her burgers,
that, man.
and it would like you'd watch ashes fall in the grill.
Oh yeah.
Just flick it off and just keep frying.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah.
And I bet it was the best fucking burger you've ever had in your life.
Let me ask you this. I want your opinion on this because he's probably listening. I have a friend of mine who's a very good friend.
Joe Bridges.
Is also a psychopath. No, he's not in the comedy world. You guys don't know him.
I'm sorry,
Love
Joe.
him to
I didn't
death.
know he was going to say that. My bad.
He's a crazy person. He enjoys the smell of ashes and cigarettes to the point where when he was a kid, he used to lick his grandpa's ashtrays when he'd walk away.
That guy's a goddamn madman. I mean,
Thank you.
Has
You
he?
heard it here first.
How many people has he killed? Roughly.
If you met him, you would go a lot. A lot. He's
Roughly.
the
like
sweetest
if I saw him on the
being.
news, I'd be like, that guy has definitely.
That's the ashtray
strangled some
liquor.
cats.
Yeah. No, he actually owns a very successful coffee shop in the area, and we'll plug them later. But he's out there.
It's like the special flavor, just
ashes.
Here's his deal. He's one of these people who likes very strong taste and smells, like black coffee. He likes a nice, really strong, bold black coffee. Rare meat. He likes the cigarette thing, gasoline, all these like strong.
I like gasoline.
Now I
flavors.
do love the smell of diesel. So,
Specifically diesel.
Diesel specifically.
I don't know that
I don't know.
distinguish
I don't
the
know if
two.
I know the smell of diesel.
Well, we used to have a trucking company when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And
So it's nostalgia.
so yeah. For me, if I'm like in a warehouse and I can smell that diesel, it's like, oh man.
Yeah.
I miss this.
Dude, it's funny we're talking about this.
I like the smell of rotten eggs. You know what I mean? Oh, that's all gasoline is.
You're the worst.
That's all gasoline is, motherfucker.
Not the same. We drove the whole drive back from Asheville last night.
Whatever.
My mom's a therapist. I think I've said before on the show. We were talking about this conversation about smells that are linked to memory and stuff, and she was kind of explaining to me like the psychology behind it. But it's very interesting. Do you guys have any smells that really like take you to a certain place in your childhood or anything? I have a few.
Come back to me.
Creek water.
Creek water,
creek
like
water.
Stagnant water,
just
like that mossy smell.
Yeah. Creek water takes me right back to my childhood.
Swamp water.
Yeah, it's weird.
Because you used to wash your
I
clothes.
will say, like,
is that
like
I used to catch
because you grew up in 1853? Is that what?
I spent a lot of time fishing in lakes, so like I gotta get that. Like,
no, I used to like go catch snakes and crawdads in the creek at my grandma's house.
Yeah.
So yeah, creek water right away. I get that instant nostalgia kid vibe.
Waffle House the smell of Waffle House takes me back to some happy times.
God, it takes
that was
me
a callback.
Back to some not happy times.
Just kidding. I don't know if I have one, honestly. Like I do have like the lake one. Like
really?
I mean, I'm sure I do.
I have very specific ones.
Really?
Like, go for it.
Sometimes they're just triggered by that smell, and like a whole memory comes flooding back. Like I think I mentioned on the show when I was a kid, I lived in Virginia Beach and I worked at this crab shack, and I would like go out on the crab boats sometimes in the mornings before work and then run this shack all day. But where I was a kid, I was 12, 14 and 15, I think, those summers that I lived there. And so I was kind of like the bitch boy. I would do like the grunt work that nobody wanted to do, like throw out clean dead clams, which is, for the record, there's no worse smell on planet Earth than
dead clams.
I promise you there's not a worse one. No, it's like dying rats would be nothing compared to that. It's so, for whatever reason, so bad. Anyways, one of my jobs was to empty what they called the shrimp buckets, because we had big coolers of frozen shrimp out in the shop for people to buy, and the valve was open. So all that ice water would melt throughout the day, and that iodine ice water would drip in these buckets, and it smelled fucking horrid. So I would have to take it out back and dump it, and then I would splash Pine Sol in the bottom of the bucket when I brought it back in. So anytime, like 620 where the club used to be, that Pine Sol smell makes me like almost nauseous, because I think about dumping out frothy buckets of iodine water, like ice water.
I get that.
So you don't have a good memory with any smell.
I don't think
I
got
just trauma.
Ones. That's a bad one, but I've got some good ones.
I don't know. I truly don't know if I do. I don't.
Really?
I mean, I'm sure I do, but like, I don't know.
That's kind of crazy. You'd think with a nose like that, you'd smell all kinds of stuff.
Do I have a big nose?
No, I just wanted to make you very self-conscious moving forward.
He's going to be in the mirror later like,
do I have, like,
is it big?
That's the first. I've never heard that. I've heard I have like
do I need to get
ears.
a job? Come on.
What I'm going to do from now on, every episode, I'm going to mention some physical quality of Michael that's perfectly normal just to get in his head.
I will. I feel like as far as my
you ever
physical
notice his
goes,
fingernails?
Not till now, but man, they are. Yeah.
Do you guys remember like in like middle school, whenever somebody was like, "Hey, look at your fingernails," and like however you looked at it, they'd be like, "Oh, that means you're gay." Like if you look at it like,
oh yeah,
do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wasn't there something about like lay your hand flat too, and if it curls, you've been jerking off?
I've never heard that one, but that was funny.
And I would always do this when I would put it out like as a gag. I'd be like, "What?"
I would just like lay it down like this.
I think some people's would lay flat, but I don't. Yeah. I think that's more arthritis.
That's
natural. That feels.
I don't know. Mine kind of curls up a little bit.
You dirty dog.
I'm having a morning.
Sure does.
Dude, middle school. Kids were fucking crazy. I remember like the funny one was like if your hand, and this is like they get you one time, like
hands bigger in your face.
Hands bigger in your face.
I just got Haley with that 6 months ago.
No, you didn't.
One of my proudest achievements.
She's never heard of that.
I'm sure she has. She's just the most gullible human being on planet Earth.
Yeah.
I've told you the latitude and longitude story.
Yeah.
So funny. So fun. It's my favorite thing is just to tell her things that are not true. Like if we're driving past somewhere and she's like, "What is that building?" I'll be like, "Oh, that's the crematorium where they," like just nonsense. And she's like, "Oh," and then I know that 6 months from now she's gonna be driving by with her sister and be like, "That's the crematorium." Like, it's
dude,
so
I do the same thing to Kayla, but it's kind of starting to backfire because I'll say like legitimate things and she just like does not believe me anymore.
Yeah.
Like my favorite one, I probably mentioned it, but this is for you listeners. Just when you're with somebody, and you see a tall building, just very confident, be like, "Hey, that's the second tallest building in your state."
So funny.
Just leave it.
Yeah.
Don't say anything else, and then Eventually, they'll
because it's a very like arbitrary fact that nobody would ever check.
The fact that you picked the second tallest.
Oh yeah,
right. Yeah. That's how you get them.
That's the trick. Or even if you're like that's the 6th tallest building on the East Coast, you'd be like, no shit. Like you got to do the number game. Yeah. Very smart.
I got her with that for like 2 days. It made me happy. So,
so
and it was a hotel at Johnson City. It was nothing.
There's no way.
It was nothing.
Very funny. That's very funny.
Oh, anyway.
I think for me, middle school is like the origins of becoming a stand-up. I really do.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
dude. Do you, Michael, is there anything that stands out like from your middle school era that you see now and you go, oh, yeah, that makes sense that like we landed here? I think middle school, for whatever reason, is where a lot of stand-ups develop.
A lot of mine came from high school, but like middle school was fun.
It's mainly I was bullied so much that I had to like find a way to like combat that.
Yeah.
And I'm not good at fighting. Like I did get into some fights, but I'm not good. I got my ass whooped.
Sure.
So
you didn't get into fights. You
got
beat up.
I got beat up. Yeah. So
I lost a couple, but you know.
Middle school was definitely where you like find a way to start defending yourself.
Yeah.
And that was for me comedy. So
sure. Yeah.
That's how I feel like that's how I kind of try to fit in, was just trying to make people laugh, you know.
And I made all the wrong choices too. Like I picked clarinet as my instrument in band.
You do have that joke.
Oh my God, yeah.
I just remembered that joke you had.
So I mean, and that's reality. So I didn't do myself any fucking favors.
That's such a hilarious perspective too, to go, yeah, I was asking for it.
Yeah.
That is one of my favorite local jokes.
That's good.
Like it's
I think the bullying thing is interesting too, because I relate to that too. I don't know. I'm always hesitant to talk about being bullied because
you were the bully.
No. I mean, there were certainly interactions that felt like that to me, but when when you like read articles on bullying in America, or like you get the full grasp of what bullying is, I don't know that I experienced that. I don't want to be too romantic about the hardships that I went through. It wasn't that bad.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, like I wasn't beat up every day or anything.
Like textbook, like in a textbook, you're reading like what bullying is. I experienced that,
right?
But then there's like.
But who didn't? Honestly?
But there's like there are kids who were like severely bullied.
Well, especially the cyberbullying thing, because that wasn't really a thing.
When
we were growing.
Listen, I graduated in 2005. I mean, the internet was barely a thing when I was in middle school.
Yeah, I graduated in 14. So like we had I think my sophomore junior years whenever everyone started getting smartphones.
Yeah.
And so it's like. You know,
that's me. But when I'm a freshman, so like through high school we had them, but even then, I mean,
it was so new, dude. We were just using Vine,
a real thing.
You know, we were just on Vine and OG Twitter.
Hell yeah,
you know what I mean,
I miss Vine.
Dude. I remember when Instagram and Snapchat came out. Like I was in high school when both of those.
There's somebody listening to this right now and is like, "You young fucking bastard." I remember when the printing.
Yeah, he's in the fucking room.
Did you ever have MySpace?
No,
I
you
MySpace.
never had a fucking MySpace,
Listen,
dude.
I had,
MySpace was brutal.
I had
loved
MySpace,
it.
and I had one that doesn't exist anymore called Vampire Freaks.
I'd never even heard of Vampire Freaks.
Yeah,
that feels like a kink website. I don't know that that's.
That does feel like
it is. It was MySpace.
That's something Michael's gonna Google.
Feels like a lot of naked chicks with like fake vampire face. Is what it feels like.
It is. It was.
Is it still available?
No, it was MySpace for goths. And
cool.
I love the niche.
Oh yeah, and I loved it. They had an email service, and I used their email service for years.
Oh, that's funny. My niche is actually the one who called me
VampireFreaks.com.
It was Michael Merrick at VampireFreaks.com.
Dude, I wish you still had that email address. Like, I wish you gave that out and like.
No, that wasn't the right one. It was Monagle. I went by Monagle, Monagal. At VampireFreaks.com.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, was that your goth name? Monagle?
Yeah.
At VampireFreaks.com is the funniest fucking email I've ever heard.
Did you ever have a hardcore phase? Like where that was your whole identity?
What, like
you had,
emo
like
or whatever?
goth or what? Yeah, like what did you identify?
I would say I more leaned into like kind of like punk goth stuff.
Sure.
If that makes sense. Like
Blink-182 type of stuff?
Yeah, like Blink-182, Simple Plan.
Green Day kind of guy.
Green Day, dude. My Chemical Romance.
There is a hacky sack in this room right now.
There is I almost bought another one. I never could find the hacky sack the other day, so I almost bought another one just for the gag.
Yeah.
And
I'm sure I've said this on the show. One of my favorite things ever said on camera is Between Two Ferns with Zach Galifianakis. Have you seen that show, the interview show? He's interviewing Matthew McConaughey, and he goes, "When you and Woody Harrelson were on the scene of True Detective, were you worried that somewhere there was a sack not being hacked?"
I love that one.
Dude, that is... True Detective. That's good.
So funny.
I did develop my dark humor in middle school, though.
I would say I did mine as well.
Yeah.
I think for boys, that's a good age.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
12 is kind of where it starts to kick in.
Okay. Listen, do you guys remember deadbabyjokes.com?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
No, but I remember the jokes.
That's where my dark humor formed.
Yeah,
I'm not proud of that, but that was where
that was a punchline, right? To just be like dead baby, like
no, dude. There was a whole website of different,
But I'm saying, like,
elaborate
yeah,
setups.
it was like
you could just say that and it get a laugh.
like what's better than one dead baby and 10 trash cans? It's 10 dead babies in one trash can.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like one of the dead baby jokes.
I don't know.
Dude, there was like
I
a
think
whole.
that's funny. I'll be honest. I don't.
Like repeating it now, I'm like,
it doesn't offend me.
I
But it doesn't.
I don't
make me
find it
laugh.
funny at all now. But like when I'm 11 and edgy,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Okay, so there you said something that makes me want to FaceTime my mom and ask her this, because it's probably something to do with the developing mind of like a 12-year-old boy, where it's like, what is the craziest shit I can say?
That's
like the shock
100%.
value.
That's what it was, dude.
Yeah.
That's that whole website, dude. MySpace,
And some comics still do that.
Yeah.
Just the shock value thing.
Dude, MySpace too was also fucking wild. So we had MySpace till I was in high school, and then it kind of phased out, and then everyone got Facebook. I got a Facebook in high school too. Like that's kind of when Facebook got big. But MySpace was wild, bro. You were just adding people. You'd rank your friends. You had to like completely edit your profile. You remember like sitting there
you had
for
the,
hours.
You had the top 10, and
editing.
if someone didn't make the cut, they were messaging you right away. Like, what the fuck, man? I thought we were bros.
We would we would update our. I think I did top 8, and then I cut it down to top 4. Man, we'd update our top 4 all the time, like daily.
That feels like cyberbullying.
It really was. It was warfare. It was psyops.
Missed it. I got my Facebook was the first one I had, and it was probably 2010.
Dude, early Facebook was fine. Early
10
Facebook.
or 11.
Early Facebook when it was just kids was cool. Like when it was just like not kids, but like
Now
you
it's
know,
all old
2010. I was like 15, right? It was just like teenagers and like young adults was fine. And
Well, what happened is people taught their boomer grandparents how to use Facebook, and
I
then
sure did.
ruined it for
myself.
ruined it for everybody.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
we all collectively and bring back MySpace. Jesus.
Sometimes
Christ.
I get those Facebook memories, and since I had one at like age 11 or whatever, sometimes it's fucking hilarious.
I
Like,
deleted my Facebook at one
Dude.
point and then remade one so I don't get them.
I have some that are like 13 years ago, and it's the funniest shit you've ever heard. I had one a few days ago. I had literally
You got a
screenshot
memory
it and
the other
saved
day,
it.
didn't you?
Oh yeah, I'm
just
not
kidding.
I'm
Don't
not
tell
telling that
story.
on Mike.
Don't tell that story.
I was like, what's he talking
Shit, I ain't getting canceled.
Yeah.
Not today.
Dude, I had one 9 years ago today. The Pokemon servers would be down while I'm at Daytona Speedway. Nathaniel Brewer is feeling annoyed.
Pokemon Go?
Yeah, dude.
Hell yeah,
dude.
bro.
Oh, that's a good one.
That took
I
me
like
back.
that.
I saw
yeah.
that and I shared it. I was like, hell yeah.
And I'm sure like Daytona Speedway, you can catch like a Rayquaza or some shit.
Oh, it
there.
was like a huge tower.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's dope. Man, I miss Pokemon Go. We used to drive around before they banned driving while you played it. You remember that?
Oh yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah, and if you were like running too fast, it'd be like, it looks like you're driving right
Yeah.
now. I don't know that from experience because I'm fat, but I heard that if you were moving too fast, it would say that.
It was a fun time. You guys remember like early
How good was Pokemon Go?
it was cool for like a month. I felt like
yeah, but how good was that month?
it was a
Yeah.
fucking great
It was
month.
a good month.
Dude, I love Pokemon. I got burned out of Pokemon Go so quickly though.
I loved it.
I remember I was late to the Pokemon Go, and then when I got to it, I'm like, oh, I get it, but now no one else is playing it.
Too
So,
late.
Dude, I
yeah.
remember I jailbroke my phone and like downloaded a version of Pokemon Go where you could change the location.
Yeah.
So I was sitting on an Xbox Live party with my buddy who
Yeah, I
showed me
had
how to
a
do it.
friend that was a fucking loser too and did the same thing.
Who did that?
Yeah.
And we just sat there playing like in between Call of Duty, switching our location to like Japan, catching everything, dude. It was dope.
I did something similar with Fallout Shelter. When Fallout Shelter came
yeah.
out, I was all on board because I'm a huge Fallout fan.
VPN.
No, what you would do is
Oh, that would have been an easier way to do it. Just fucking have a VPN.
Yeah, you
Jesus
definitely could have
Christ.
not had to ruin your device.
the game state saved its time via your phone. So you would just change the time on your phone,
Yeah.
and it would move forward the progress, and you change your time back.
Like
and
Animal
all that.
Crossing.
Yeah.
Dude.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, they do that with Xbox too. Like the new college football game just came out, and all, like my roommate and all their buddies set their time to Australia or whatever, so it's like a day ahead. So they get it like a day early on their
Oh,
thing,
that's cool.
releases. Yeah,
That's smart.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember like or like early to mid 2000s like Xbox Live parties.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that now we're talking cyberbullying.
Yeah,
now let's get back to that. Yeah.
Bro.
Prolific use of the N-word.
Oh my gosh.
So much.
I don't always like agree. Like I hate those posts. It's like you don't know what online gaming is if you didn't game in this time. And that's like the only post like that I truly agree with.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Dude, it's a different.
We used
the
to
Modern Warfare 2 lobby before you split teams when you could hear everybody.
Or whenever you're dead and search and you could hear everybody.
Oh god.
Some of the funniest clips from gaming of all time.
Some of the most toxic people
Requise.
on the planet.
Please tell me you guys know Requise.
Requise.
There's a famous clip from Modern Warfare 2 where this guy keeps getting flashed. And he rages and he goes, every time I get fucking flashed. And then he starts screaming and he goes, it's like some big brawling black dude named fucking Requise is slipping a sheet over my head and proceeds to scoff. Like, he's just screaming these insane things in game chat.
Bro.
For like 5 minutes. It's so funny. He goes, I spawn die. It's so funny.
Dude, if I had a time machine and I could go back for just 1 hour, I think I'd go to 2010 and just hop into a search and destroy Modern Warfare 2 lobby. Just for the comedic value of it.
A lot of people would kill Hitler, but that's fine. You do what you want to do. That's
I only have an hour. Would you guys... You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
probably kill myself after getting out of that lobby. I'm too woke now. I'd probably be like, yeah. Would you guys go back and kill Hitler? I don't know if I would.
I don't want to get into time travel because me and my wife had our first big argument based on time travel.
I thought you were going to say because I am a time traveler. And I was like, is that who's on your shirt right now? Is that the president from the future?
No, this is Marshall.
That's the president right now.
This is Marshall Applewhite.
Who's that?
He was the leader.
Johnny Appleseed? Is that
he
what
was
you
the
said?
leader of Heaven's Gate.
Oh, now I like that shirt.
Yeah, that's
God,
pretty dope.
his T-shirt game is off the
Yeah, where
rails.
do you get your T-shirts
I
from?
had this one made for me.
Okay.
You know what's funny? He has great shirts even when I don't know what they are.
Yeah.
As soon as I learn what they are, I'm like,
I like-
another one.
I like Michael has an idea and he's like, I'm gonna get somebody to put this on a shirt for me. And
You saw it through.
My brother-in-law has a screen printing.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, I need a
hilarious.
Marshall Applewhite.
You ever
t-shirt.
think of starting a business where you sell T-shirts? Like just whatever your idea is, and you put it on a T-shirt, and you just.
You could be the next
So-
Yeezus. That could be you. Yeah.
I think Yeezus was famous because of music too.
I got to
but-
get
Nah,
way
it's
more
his shoes.
racist to be Yeezus level. So
Yeah, I do want to go back on the. I was trying to make a joke when I said I don't know if I'd kill Hitler, and you guys brushed over it. So I think
We didn't brush it. I heard it.
What were we thinking? I think I would. I don't know.
I don't.
I'll backtrack a little bit.
So there's the whole time travel thing where it's like you could do that, but it would impact in X amount of ways, and there may just be another person who rises to power and does the exact same thing, or even worse than it, and then you've caused it. Like there's a lot.
All right.
Also, you're killing a baby.
This is fun.
Which
I didn't
feels
say
wrong.
the baby. I would do big Hitler. I'm not crazy.
Oh no, there's a lot of like if you could go back and kill baby Hitler.
No, I wouldn't. I
that's
don't.
a thing.
Would you guys do that? I don't think I would
Dead
do that.
baby.
Listen, if we're talking about like streamlining,
Thank you.
Okay.
if we're
There we
talking
go.
about streamlining, it's going to be way easier to kill baby Hitler than full-grown Hitler.
I mean, you only have an hour, I guess.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I mean, babies are easy to kill. I mean, but once he's in power, he's guarded.
Dude,
We'll
this
cut
is
this
a
from
this is a
YouTube.
fun fact. This is a fun fact. Do you know how many people tried to assassinate Hitler while he was like the
Oh
dictator?
yeah,
It was like
yeah.
I'd like to know actually.
like
how many-
it's like 100 different people. Like, and they came close like 100 different times.
Really?
Like,
There were several different operations that were
Fact
there
check.
just to kill Hitler. So
fact check.
okay. Anyway, what was I gonna say? Fuck.
Dude, the search result was how many people tried to kill John Wick. That's what came up.
Probably a lot. I've never seen those movies.
Honestly, that's a more important question.
I've never seen those movies, but I'd say a lot.
Oh,
You've
there's-
never
what?
Oh, my
oh, they're
God.
amazing.
John Wick ruined action movies
Yeah,
for me.
yeah.
Every movie I watch, I'm like, it's not John Wick.
Okay, listen, I've seen the premise of it, and I'm like,
I promise, dude. I promise. Haley said the same thing. She was like, I don't really like all those corny action movies. And I said, just watch the first one and let's see.
Yeah.
We watched all three of them the night before the fourth one came
And the fact that they've built a whole universe around that
It's
is
so
it's an amazing.
what is the
world.
second through four about? Isn't the first one about his dog?
Yeah. Second through it's literally, it's just like
About his dogs,
action porn. Like it's
Yeah,
just
it
him
really
killing
is.
people in these crazy ass ways. But the most incredible choreography and like combat, and he trains with like
I've
legit
seen
military person.
like
It's awesome.
videos of Keanu Reeves like training and stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. It's super, super good.
I don't know, man. I don't know. You guys been watching The Boys?
No, but my roommate is, and I don't want to watch it.
I haven't caught up on The Boys yet, so.
Because you agree with the people they're making fun of? All right. This is fun. Dead air.
Michael's really on it today. It's about 20 assassination attempts. You inflated that a little bit, but that's all right.
Oh, my God.
No, while I'm looking at it, I wanted to mention on this episode that we lost Bob Newhart this week, who's a comedy legend that Michael Rose does not know.
I do know Bob Newhart.
He thinks he's Papa Elf from Elf, which he is.
I'm going to fight this motherfucker.
No, Bob Newhart. He's a legend. It's very sad. He, for me, was one of my first introductions to stand-up. Also, my grandpa was a big fan of his, and he had a very clean cut attitude. Very clean, yeah. He also had a relationship with Don Rickles, though, who is one of my all times, and they could not have been more opposite. Yeah. But I discovered this week, and that's kind of what I want to talk about. There is a short, it's 25-minute documentary that Judd Apatow produced called Bob and Don, that I did not know existed. This is years ago, and it's, if you go through Judd's social media right now, it's linked for free where you can watch it. It used to be behind a paywall, but after Bob passed away, he made it free. Oh, nice. And I watched it. And if you're a fan of stand-up comedy, please take 25 minutes and watch. Stop listening to this show. Yeah. Honestly, go.
Yeah, what are you doing about here? Retention? Yeah. Right before we started, you were like, retention's not good. Now
I wish I was watching it right now.
Halfway through, you're like, get the fuck off.
Why are we talking right now? We should be watching this.
No, truly, it's a really good look at one of the legendary duos in comedy, and it's so funny. But Michael, do you know any? I mean, you know the name Bob Newhart, and you've seen his stuff. But him and Rickles were polar opposites.
Who's Don Rickles?
Oh,
I'm just kidding.
Oh,
Don Rickles had some of the best roast material ever.
Yeah, boy, is it not hold up. It's
Don
rough.
Pickles?
It's rough. Yes, that's the one.
Mr. Pickles?
Mr. Pickles, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, so Don Rickles was notoriously just crazy on stage and just harsh with words, but behind closed doors, the sweetest human being of all time. So Bob Newhart told this story one time. I want to tell you this. Bob Newhart had met Rickles several times. He knew that his onstage persona was very different than who he really was. He took his wife to meet Rickles at a show in Vegas. And before the show, they go backstage. She meets Rickles. And he's very nice. Hi, how you doing? You're so lovely, all these things. And so when they go to sit down, Bob Newhart's wife says, he's just the sweetest man. He's just, I can't believe how sweet he is. You had me scared, all these things. And he's like, well, just so you know, his stage act is a little different than backstage. And she's like, I can't imagine what a sweetheart. So they sit front row, right? And Bob was notorious for kind of stuttering his material, and he was from Chicago. So they sit down. Rickles comes out. The first thing he says is, Bob Newhart's here, ladies and gentlemen, in the front row. Stand up, Bob. And he waves, and the crowd's cheering. And Rickles goes, everybody make some noise for the babbling idiot from Chicago and his whore wife.
That is true Don Rickles right there, too.
That's one of my favorite stories of all time, dude.
Hell yeah, man.
All time. Rickles has some of the best. He has a book. It's called Rickles' Book. It's one of my favorite reads of all time. And he tells that story in there. He also tells, there's one with Sinatra, because he was close with Sinatra. And he was never in the Rat Pack, but he was there.
He was adjacent to the Rat Pack.
Yeah, they called him their court jester. He would tour with them just to make them laugh, but he wasn't cool enough to be one. Anyway, so one time he's eating at a restaurant. He's on a date. This is Don Rickles, and this is in the 70s. He's on a date, and Frank Sinatra's there, and he's sitting at a table across this little restaurant, and the date goes, oh my God, Frank Sinatra. Frank Sinatra at that time is more than anything we have
is
now.
God.
Yeah. God, yeah, literally number one. Because this is, or no, I guess this would be the 60s. This is I think Elvis is in the military. Anyway, Sinatra's huge, and this girl's freaking out because she's like, that's Frank Sinatra. And Rickles goes, I know Frank. I could go talk to, tried to impress the day. And she's like, really? And he's like, yeah, I'll go talk to him. So Rickles goes over to the table, and he leans down and he goes, Frank, I'm with this date, and I'm really trying to make something happen. And it would mean the world to me if you could just stop by the table on the way out. And so Frank's like, okay, yeah, well, hold on. Let me, finish the espresso or whatever. At the end of the meal, I'll walk by. So Don goes and sits down. He's eating, doesn't say anything. And then Frank Sinatra gets up to leave. And as he passes the table, he stops and he goes, Don, how are you? And Rickles goes, Frank, my God, can't you see I'm with somebody?
Jesus.
To the most famous man in the world, who was very closely tied to the mob. Also, and Frank had a couple of goons lift Rickles on their shoulders and carry him out of the restaurant to embarrass him in front of the date.
That's so.
That's an all-time
funny,
fucking
dude.
comedy story, dude.
Yeah.
Anyways, rest in peace to Dunn, and to Bob. They're both gone now.
Dude, Judd Apatow though. Let's talk about him for a second. You brought him up.
Mm-hmm.
Judd Apatow is fucking goated, man. Like,
I think he's one of the most important people in the world of stand-up.
That not
who
everyone
isn't really
knows-
known for stand-up.
that not everyone knows his name.
Yeah.
And like
That's true. Yeah,
like Judd Apatow, I've been reading his book.
I heard it's great. I forget the name too. Yeah, I've heard it's really good.
Sick in the Head. I've been reading his book, Sick in the Head. And it's just him interviewing like the most famous whoever. Yeah. Like the most famous comedians. Like there's Adam Sandler, Will Ferrell, like Seinfeld. There's all of them.
He's done a lot.
And like his story on how he got into the comedy world. Do you guys know that story?
Actually, yeah, I've heard him talk about it on a podcast, maybe Bobby Lee's podcast, I think, on
like,
Tiger Belly.
The brief version of it is he was in, I think it was high school, and he just wanted to be comedy adjacent, and he called I think it was Seinfeld actually. He called Seinfeld, called Seinfeld's manager, got a hold of Seinfeld, and while he's in high school, he like played it up like he was like some reporter and did an interview with Seinfeld.
Oh,
and
shit,
like, that's how he fell in love with the game, and then just kept doing that, and then has produced every funny movie that we've seen.
Not very good at stand-up, though.
No, I mean,
Keeps doing it, which is cool.
He's a better writer than
he's a better writer. I mean, but he's produced every funny movie for the last 20 years. He did what's that show? Only had one season, had Seth Rogen in it. Freaks and Geeks.
Yeah, Freaks and Geeks. Yeah.
Dude, Freaks and Geeks, man. That's such a.
He's got a lot of great credits.
He really does. So.
He's super important to. There's a lot of those characters that are like they're not necessarily known for their stand-up, but they're very important to the comedy world. Like the one that anytime anybody asks me who's your favorite person who's not in stand-up but in comedy is Conan.
Yeah.
Conan is
I'd say he's
such
a
a fucking huge influence on me. He's not, though. He's never done stand-up.
Really? How the fuck did he get his...
I thought he did stand-up in the 80s beforehand.
Nope. He was a writer.
He was always a writer.
He wrote for the Harvard Lampoon. He graduated from Harvard.
Yeah.
He's like a fucking genius.
A lot of
Harvard Lampoon.
A lot of big writers and comedians that you'll see and actors and stuff. I mean, like, I'm not, like... You have to be smart. Like... You have to have a lot of emotional intelligence and be smart to.
I think he's one of the best comedic minds in the history of the world.
I
love him.
I think his importance is the fact that he will take chances on comedians to come on the show.
Yep,
that's true too.
And like I think a lot of people can say, "Oh, my career was made when I went to Conan." Yeah,
he's huge for comedy. Not to mention all the interns. If you ever look at a list of like celebrities that were formerly his interns, the entire cast of The Office.
Yep.
Yeah.
The whole cast of The Office was an intern of Conan's at
some
point.
It was so funny. Before you got here, we were watching The Office and we were talking about The Office.
Yeah. He's in it too. He's in one episode.
He's in one episode, very briefly, very small.
He walks by when Michael Scott's getting his New York slice at Sbarro. Yep. Conan walks by.
His favorite New York pizza, Sbarro. That's such a fucking... Dude, there are some jokes in The Office. I'm rewatching The Office right now, and there are some jokes in The Office that are so subtle. Yeah. Like the Sbarro one, that's such a subtle fucking
me a New
joke.
York slice.
Goes to Sbarro. No, going back to Harvard for a sec and The Office, BJ Novak and Karen, what's her actress name?
Jones.
Rashida Jones.
Do you know
Both are
that
Harvard
she
alums.
is what's his face's daughter? Fuck, I lost his name right there. That's my bad. Quincy Jones. Quincy Jones is her dad.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's like one of the most legendary black producers in Hollywood. He made the Thriller album for Michael Jackson.
I didn't know. That's
He
awesome.
was like a creative director for Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, like movies, TV, you name it. He's done it all.
Yeah. Dude, The Office, man.
He was part of the We Are the World thing.
Yep.
Like
and
he was very important, like key figure in that.
He coordinated it.
Yeah, it was him, Lionel Richie, and Michael Jackson. Yeah.
The guy who plays Mose in The Office, I can't think of his name right now.
Yeah, he's one of the head writers.
He's like the guy, right? He's like like the charge of The Office. Did Parks and Rec? Did Good Place? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, we're kind of bouncing all over the place, but I did.
But these are all comic. I'm keeping it comedian.
No, just to wrap it up, I was just gonna say Conan. Harvard Lampoon, and then went to The Simpsons and was very successful in those seasons where he wrote for The Simpsons, like the monorail episode. I think it's season 4 when he comes around, 3 or 4. That like 4-year period where Conan's writing is the best Simpsons. There's nothing better, and he's head writer. And then he goes to SNL and does amazing writing there. And then he winds up in the late night game.
Late night,
yeah. And then of course there's the whole drama with Leno and all that shit. But no, I
kind of fucked up.
Yeah, it's a really fucked up situation. But as a kid, like, so I was in high school 2014 through 18, and during that period, every fucking Wednesday night, he was on TBS at that point.
Yeah.
I would stay up and I would watch Conan. And kind of to your point, he would have these comics on there that now are huge. But at the time, like, Mark Normand was... Yeah. That was one of his first, if not his, that might be his first TV appearance. Is Conan, maybe, yeah. Sam Morrill, a lot of the big New York names came through Conan's show, and he just did fucking so much. And I mean, he does travel shows.
Jimmy
now.
Fallon has a lot of people on. Yeah. A lot of like Nate Bargatze and
way back. Yeah.
He'll talk about it a lot, like how Jimmy, like he loves Fallon.
Yeah, he does.
And how like Fallon gave him all these shots.
Yeah.
I think Jimmy Kimmel's my favorite of like the late night guys. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe you're Seth just Meyers. Wrong. Honestly.
Mine was Craig Ferguson.
John Oliver is my favorite of all time.
I'll accept that. But
John Oliver is the best, but like
Jon Stewart would be a better.
Oh well, I'm talking about active right now. I mean,
he's back.
Oh, you're right. Once a week, you're right.
Dude, he's on.
But then again, John Oliver's only once a week.
They brought him back just for the election year. They're like, we need to
put
up the bat signal. We got to bring in Jon Stewart.
So I watched the episode. I watched the episode of The Daily Show with Jon Stewart on Monday.
Yeah,
last Monday.
Unbelievable.
After the
so good
assassination attempt and everything, and he was like, they called me back for the election. Who'd have fucking thought this? You know?
Yeah,
it was. Yeah.
Well, so on that topic, I think I should definitely mention. If you're listening to this right now, here's another thing you should stop listening and go watch. There was an episode of Kill Tony that came out last week that they recorded a week before the assassination attempt, unfortunately. But the guests on the panel were Shane Gillis in full Trump garb and Adam Ray as Biden.
And what day does Kill Tony come out?
I think it's Monday nights. Monday nights. They just barely missed it.
Yeah.
You have got to watch it, Michael. I'm not even kidding.
I will take it.
They went almost 3 hours. It's like the longest episode in Kill Tony history. It is. I was fucking crying. Halfway through the episode, I texted Haley and was like, she was folding laundry or something. I was like, throw on Kill Tony. Go look. Because it was premiering that night on YouTube, even though it was recorded 2 weeks ago. And she's watching it. She FaceTimed me 3 times. And she was like, I can't breathe. I am literally hurting, like, from laughing. It's just Shane Gillis's Trump is unbelievable.
He's very funny.
It's so good.
Very funny.
The mannerisms, he's got the hands, the thing. When he comes out, he does the fucking dance that he does. He claps down low. He handshakes and pulls people. He does everything, dude. It's perfect. It's so funny.
You said you're not caught up in The Boys. Just bring it back to The Boys for a second. Real quick, this matters.
Michael's always talking about Boys.
What a fucking callback.
I promise this matters. You said you do watch The Boys before I spoil. I'm not going to spoil it. The episode just came out. So the last episode of the new season, I'm not going to tell you what the episode was about, but the original name was Assassination Run.
Oh, they changed it?
They completely deleted the name off of everything.
Good move.
Yeah.
Because that came out on Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, to try and tie this back into stand-up, did you guys know there's a whole special of George Carlin's that never released? It was supposed to release on September 3rd?
11th?
Or no, I'm sorry. Yeah, 13th. September 13th, 2001. And the title of the album was Sometimes It's Funny When People Die.
I didn't know about this.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah. And it's wiped. Like, you cannot find it anywhere. But it was, it's scheduled to release. Yeah. And then as soon as 9/11 happened, they were like, cut that shit. Like, get it out of here.
Yeah. They need to release it like 25-year anniversary or something. I mean, that's...
I don't know if they do. Also, he was so old by that point. Like,
I remember.
That's when he started bombing. Like, people talked about how awful he was on stage.
Yeah.
He was in his 90s.
I remember his last special. I think he was.
When was George Carlin born?
A long time ago.
Dude, he shouldn't have been 90s in the early 2000s.
Maybe 70s. Maybe I'm flaming.
Yeah.
I remember his last special, and I'm like, oh god, it wasn't the Carlin that I remembered because he was just old and ranting.
Yeah, like you hit an age with like anything, like you just can't do it at the same level. When was he born?
He was he was 71 when he died. And that was in 2008. So he actually would have been like early 60s. Iron Flame.
Yeah.
He was old. I was thinking George Burns, actually, is who I was thinking still touring in their 90s. They both died on tour.
Well, that's still, I mean, that's like, you die in your 70s in 2008. That's like being in your 90s now. You know what I mean? Like
that's true. Yeah, it's very old.
Like,
well, especially, even further back than that. Yeah. He was born in 37.
Yeah, you're born during the Great Depression. You know what I mean?
Do you know about George Burns? Do you know who that is, Michael?
The documentary guy?
No. That's
his name, right?
No, I know who you're talking about.
That's Ken Burns.
That's Ken Burns. Yeah, yeah.
I love playing this game of what comedians does Michael not know. George Burns is a legendary comedian. He was born in 1896.
Jesus.
And he's one of the founding members of stand-up comedy through the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. He died in 1996. He was 100. Yeah. He died on tour. He was touring at 100.
Damn, dude.
He's fucking very prolific.
Dude, you imagine having like
1896.
You imagine having World War I, World War II, Vietnam, and Korea to joke about?
All of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like maybe not World War I. He may not have been like doing it yet for World War I. He'd been like 19. Maybe like 18. World War I started, but like
he was 5 years old when Teddy Roosevelt was inaugurated.
Was all of George Burns stuff clean? Was he always a clean comic?
It's like that 40s and 30s clean where it's actually all about pussy and it's very suggestive, but it doesn't curse necessarily. Yeah. It's like Grampy clean. It's,
It's all racism and misogyny.
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
It's Grampy clean. It's another era. George was like, I don't know. He was a late night regular too, and so he was famous for just being on Johnny Carson, not even necessarily doing stand-up, but just sitting on the couch and making little quips. But Johnny was like the perfect layup guy. He would just set these easy, slow pitches, and they just fucking knock him out of the park.
So I know that we name all our episodes like episode whatever with the guest name. But if we actually named our episodes stuff that we talked about in the episode, I think we'd have to name this one Grampy Clean because it's the funniest. That's the funniest thing I've heard in a long time.
That's the episode's name.
Yeah. That'd be the impromptu episode name.
We're gonna see Grampy very soon. Yeah. Michael just doesn't know it yet, but we're gonna see him very
soon. You mentioned your grandpa.
I like Grampy.
Watching like older comedians. One of my favorites was always Red Skelton.
Oh my god!
And he was always clean.
Welcome back to episodes of Names Michael Rose Doesn't Know.
Yeah. We've talked about Red Skelton before.
Have we really?
I think Joe Bridges.
Probably. If anybody would bring it up,
maybe Joey Gray too.
Yeah.
Or Joey Gray. No, Joey Gray was Three Stooges.
But no, I grew up watching that stuff because Mom wanted us to watch clean comedy.
Yeah.
So it was that.
Holds up.
Oh, it's so
Abbott
amazing.
Costello, all those. Yeah. Laurel and Hardy.
I love it.
So funny. Who's on first? Yeah. There's a lot of those old ones. Red Skelton had one that wasn't very popular that was my grandpa's favorite. It was set in the Civil War, and it was basically a comedy about how he was for both sides. And so it's really crazy now, but it was the like step on a rake and it hit you in the face kind of comedy. But there's a scene that I'll never forget where he finds two uniforms, like a South and a North uniform. He splits them down the center and puts them on half and half, and he holds two flags next to each other and marches through the center of the battlefield so that on the right, the South sees their flag flying in their costume, and on the left, the North sees theirs.
That's
funny.
That's
the whole, that's the climax of the movie is him doing that.
That's such an intellectual joke.
Yeah, it's old.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's probably 40s, I'd say. It's black and white for sure.
Dude, I miss
50s, yeah.
I think we need to bring back the prop comedy, on stage like prop Gallagher. Comedy.
Yeah.
Dude, we'll bring it back. Did you ever watch that special I told you to watch, the Chris Porter one? Have you seen
I did not,
Ugly,
but it's on my list.
Ugly and Angry? Have you ever seen that?
I haven't seen that one, no.
God.
Dude,
well, everyone just go ahead and turn off this this podcast and
No, there is, I want to shout out this guy real quick. His name is, I believe it's Jack Shaw. He was on Kill Tony 3 or 4 weeks ago. I can't remember where he's from. I think Midwest somewhere. He is exactly what we're talking about, though. That old school shtick,
like prop comedy.
Not prop comedy, but just like that 40s shtick comedy to where Sal Volcano from Impractical Jokers was a guest host that night. And after Jack does his bits, Tony's talking to him, and Sal grabbed the mic and he goes, "Jack, I have a question." And he goes, "Yeah." And he goes, "What the fuck's going on here?" It's like, are we in a time portal? What's going on? Because Jack's just so fun. And he's Jewish. And Tony asks him, he's like, "What's the most Jewish thing about you?" And he says he's circumcised or something. And he goes, "What's the least Jewish thing about you?" And Jack goes, "Probably no money. I have no money, man. I've just got no money." And he starts screaming, "I have no money." Like he's just a character on stage. Yeah. It's very interesting. And when I saw that, it really reminded me of all those old names from the 30s. I miss that shit, man. Just
dude, I think
goofy stuff.
I think, Nathaniel, we need to go to the open mic soon, and I'll just take a rake or something, and we'll just do a fucking rake gag.
I think it'd go over well.
I think that would murder one time.
Yeah, Joe would laugh.
And then the brain damage would set
That feels like something Joe's already done on stage.
Well, Joe brings up his grandpa.
He does bring up his dead grandpa.
Yeah.
It is prop comedy, I guess. Speaking of Sal, I may have mentioned this. I saw the Impractical Jokers live, like their comedy show. I saw what's that group called?
Tenderloins.
I saw the Tenderloins when Joe was still a part of it.
Yeah,
that's the time to see it.
Yeah, and it was.
I love him.
It was one of my favorite like comedy shows I've ever seen. I mean, it was a mix of stand up. They had like clips from like Impractical Jokers and like stuff that wasn't aired and like stories behind it.
Yeah, it's like a variety show.
It was dude, it was like very cool. And
Sal's pretty legit in stand up now.
Yeah,
though. He's just had a special release. It's very good.
I've not seen that special. I've seen some older. He was on This Isn't Happening years ago, and I saw his set on there. That was really good. It was a very funny story.
He's under I think is it 800-pound gorilla or 500-pound gorilla, whatever.
I think it's 800 pound. It's 800 pound.
Yeah. His special's through there, and we have some local people we know that are also signed by 800-pound gorilla, like in this area.
Sean isn't
company.
he?
No, he's Blonde Medicine.
Blonde Medicine. Yeah. You're right. Who's 800-pound gorilla?
There's a lot in Kentucky. They do a lot of work up there. I know. Justin Mays has done some. I'm blanking right now. But there's a lot of people near us that are signed by 800-pound.
It's just like
he's trying to figure out who to smooth.
You're just like, there's a lot of people around us. And I'm like, yeah, who?
That's
You're
true.
like, just so many people.
Nobody in Bristol. I'm not saying in Bristol. I'm saying there's comics that I've met at shows and done shows with that are signed by that company. They're great.
What's the Murr, right? Murr, when I did
the Weasley one?
When we went to that show, he like at the end of the show, he like grabbed my phone and took a selfie on my phone with like
I think you told me that before. Yeah.
That's a cool awesome picture. It's my claim to fame. Anyway.
They're great. I thought they were
yeah, dude, I'd see him again. Even with Andre, I don't know if he's doing Tenderloins with him.
Who? Eric Andre?
Eric Andre.
Is he really?
I don't know if he is, but even if he would like
I'd go see that.
I would see it, but he's like Impractical Jokers.
Oh, he is.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I think he's permanent, right?
I'm not sure.
I thought they were rotating guests or something.
I feel like he's on there.
He's a wild fella.
Oh yeah,
his show's so funny.
You know, I'm gonna talk. Impractical Jokers kind of takes me out of it now. The newer episodes because they still get people, and I'm like, they're not getting.
They recognize them.
They're not getting people anymore. You
no.
know?
That's all. It's all plants and staged, and
it's not fun anymore.
Eric Andre is where I found Reggie Watts.
Yep.
I love Reggie Watts.
Yep.
He's one of my
He
favorite.
was just in Asheville not too long ago.
Oh really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man,
he played at the Orange Peel.
Orange Peel's a dope venue.
Yeah.
It really is. I love
Very
that
funny.
place. Yeah.
Yeah. I've never seen comedy there, but that's.
I've seen Henry Rollins there.
I've
seen
only
him there twice.
Dude, that would be.
Pruitt is so mad right now when you just said that.
Why?
He loves Henry Rollins.
Oh, does he really?
His dog's name is Henry Rollins.
Oh,
really?
Yeah,
That's
and that
So
joke where he's
wait a
talking
minute.
about being on the roof and he's like, "You shit where you want to, Henry Rollins." That's his
my
dog.
dog. I also have a dog named after Henry Rollins.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know if he still has that. He formerly had a dog named after.
That's funny, dude. I didn't know that Orange Peel did comedy. Did they put seats in there? That's just like.
Yeah.
I guess so.
Yeah. They put seats in.
I've only been to like standing room concerts there.
Yeah.
But the seats they put in are uncomfortable, and Henry Rollins does like 3.5 hour sets. And listen, that guy is a beast on stage.
That's a crazy move. 3.5 hours.
3.5 hours. And here's the thing: is he locks into a single position and doesn't move for 3.5 hours.
God, I don't know.
That is.
I don't know if I enjoy a
crazy.
3.5 hour.
Yeah.
Oh no, you enjoy every bit of it almost.
Ooh.
So
That's good.
until you try to stand up.
There's
Michael's
another.
funnier than Matt Rife. Did you know that?
I am funny.
I heard.
Have you heard that?
I heard this. Yeah.
Yeah, I am.
fucking
That's for
ridiculous.
Justin Mays. No. Listen, all I said was my best 10 minutes up against this man's hour, I would get more laughs. So that's all I
So
said.
crazy. You're tripling down on it.
All
This
I
is
said.
3 weeks in a row.
That's all I said.
God, you're so fucking crazy.
So Matt Rife, if you want to do like a knockout,
He
against
doesn't.
me,
He doesn't know who you are.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
That's
Listen.
nobody knows who we are.
If you,
Listen, you're not his demographic. You're not a 16-year-old girl.
That's
You
true.
know,
Yeah.
so-
You don't have a seahorse tattooed on you.
Yeah.
I was weirdly not the like. I was not even close to being the oldest person there. There was so many older people at that show.
People love him. Yeah.
Yeah.
My grandma thinks he's funny because she just sees his
Dude,
Facebook clips.
listen,
all
yeah,
the time.
his crowd
yeah.
work
Mhm.
is the best fucking crowd work in the world. Like I will give him credit on that. It's just
Well,
I wouldn't go that far.
let's not get carried away.
yeah, I mean, Troy Bond has better crowd work.
Troy Bond's very funny. Sam
Yeah.
Talent.
Yeah.
Don't even mention another name to me. Sam
Yeah.
Talent is that show like changed my whole fucking view of what stand up was. All of us. And that's the craziest part of seeing Sam Talent live is there was 15 comics there that night. I mean, Dustin and I drove down together. JoJo's there. Obviously, the whole Knoxville scene is there.
Yeah.
Jared Hazen was
it was
there.
in Knoxville, right?
It was in Knoxville.
Yeah.
It was at French Fried Vintage, which I can't ever say, but it was a Don't Tell pop-up show. And Sam's
kinda
on there.
cool.
And I mean, all of us afterwards were like, have we ever seen stand-up comedy before this? It was like, I've never fucking seen somebody do it before.
You get in your car and you're like, am I doing this? Like, should I 100% just hang up? And
the whole drive home, Dustin was like, I think I'm going to quit. It was so crazy to see.
I want to plug a smaller comedian. I think we should start doing that. Plug a smaller comedian. I may have done him before, but Connor McSpadden. Did I ever tell you about him?
I think you've mentioned it on the show.
You ever heard of Connor McSpadden? That's a very small, random name. He's based in California. Has a couple specials on YouTube. Look him up.
Okay.
Fun guy. Very.
Is he East Coast? Do you know?
No, he's West Coast. He's in California.
West Coast, okay.
That's where California is in the west.
I didn't hear you say California.
Yeah.
I wasn't listening.
Yeah. He's a West Coast comedian.
I have a question for y'all because this has been weighing on my mind here recently. Have you guys found it hard to have conversations with not comedians and you find yourself talking in bits to people?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's driving me nuts right now.
Yeah, I hate talking to anybody.
I went to a birthday party yesterday and I found myself talking in bits to my family.
I'd rather die.
And I'm just like, why can't I have a normal conversation anymore? Oh, it's because my brain's fucked.
Haley's in pharmacy school, my girlfriend, so occasionally we'll have to go to these like formal ball dinners for pharmacy school. Yeah. I'd rather kill myself.
Yeah, and every conversation I'm trying to work an angle.
Yeah. I'm trying to lead to a bit. Yeah,
like, exactly. Please. I'm finding a punchline.
She hates it, dude, because the entire time, like the president of the pharmacy school is giving a speech, I'll just be in her ear going, she's bombing right now. Like, she hasn't gotten a single laugh. It's 3 minutes in. What's she doing? And she's like, this is not comedy. And I'm like, yeah, you're telling me. This fucking sucks.
We all know. No. My problem is
so bad, dude.
My problem is like I'm not trying to do like my bits, but like I love to drop like I'll just think of a joke and I'll say it and then they don't get a laugh. And I'm like, God, that was so fucking funny.
I almost use every conversation as a way to work new material.
Absolutely.
And then I'll get in my car.
Pawns.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll be on the phone.
NPC.
I'll be on the phone with like a new client and they'll say something and I'll just because I feel like I would say I'm witty like when it comes to like conversational stuff and like I'll drop something they won't laugh and I'm like, God. Now I'm not going to make a sale and I didn't get a laugh, you know? Like
Yeah, your job kind of depends on it.
Double bomb,
if you bomb, they're like, we're going to go with someone else.
Yeah. I got fired yesterday. That was fun.
What?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
For real?
No shit.
Not from like real estate as a whole, but from like a client. Like
Jesus Christ. I was about to say.
The client fired me.
You got dropped from a client. Yeah, you didn't get fired.
You're just terrible at your job? Is that why?
Nah, dude.
Air it out. Let's talk about it.
You didn't get Kyle gassed. You just got dropped.
Yeah.
No, so.
I want names.
No, dude wants to buy a house, doesn't have the money to buy said house, and I was like, well, we need to talk about that, and he was like, I just don't like the way you operate, and then and I was like, okay,
fine.
To be fair, I also don't like the way
I shortened
you
that a lot. There was more context, but I'm like, also, can't go into all of it.
Sure.
That's fun. I get fired a lot. Not really.
We'll tag him on the comments.
Yeah.
Everybody go to the comments and follow this guy's Instagram.
We should cut that.
Yeah. We should get that guy as the host.
I don't get fired a lot.
We'll get that guy as the host.
Yeah,
he's got
back
good
to
taste.
Talking Bits with the guy who fired me.
Yeah, he's got good taste.
He's the guest next week, actually, on episode 52.
Oh, that would be fun.
Yeah.
I'll give you his number. I don't care.
Hell yeah. Let's do it.
Anyway,
before we get out of here, Michael, do you have anything coming up? Anything comedy wise that you want to?
Sounds like you've been busy. I know we didn't talk about your shows a lot.
Yeah,
but
he's been here before. I don't want to do the whole.
I don't have anything coming up right now. I'm looking for shows right now, like putting out fillers and stuff. Just trying to find more new work in new places. So.
Absolutely. Have you traveled at all have you tried your jokes in other states or cities or anything?
Well, he's been like all through Virginia. It sounds like
I've done a bunch in the middle Virginia.
Yeah.
I've done Sevierville. I did a Ray Flasher show in Sevierville.
I just saw him.
Was that competition?
No, I did
same guy.
Was that guy though? Yeah,
I did a different one. He did a show in this place called Celebration Chalet, which is in the middle of nowhere in Sevierville. It's the home of Smash, which is the Smoky Mountain Autism Success Hub. So,
wow,
it's a church.
Just blew my mind there.
Yeah, it's a church.
A church for autistic kids.
Yeah. Well,
cool.
it's a church that successfully has autism.
Is there like a train nailed to the cross? They like trains.
But
we pause 1 second. I just had a roast battle in Knoxville, and I went up against Art Martin, who his whole shtick is that he's autistic. Maybe my favorite roast joke I've ever written. Keith Marcel was like, "That's fucking funny," which made me like it. Yeah. I said, "Art is an autistic pussy," which means he loves the trains that other comics run on his girlfriend.
That's funny.
Destroyed. So good. Anyways, autism severe.
Yeah. I did that.
You're really
one.
punching down right now. You know that.
Well, some of them are tall.
Yeah.
Moving on.
It was 25 comedians, 7 minutes apiece. I went up number 5 and absolutely killed it, and it was awesome.
I bet the person who went 25th ate shit.
Wait,
oh yeah.
Hold on. You said 25?
7 minutes.
25 comics.
How long
minutes.
is that?
It's a long day.
That's
a long day.
175. Yeah. That's 175 minutes. That's a 3-hour show.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a 3-hour show. Yeah, dude. That person who went the people who went the last 10 fucking ate shit.
I got there early and I got to pick my spot, so I was like, I'm gonna go number 5 because I don't want to be number 1. And
anything past 10 is awful.
Well, the first 4 were a bit shaky, and then I went up there and I fucking knocked it out of the park.
25 is the worst.
Listen, by the time you get to like number 20,
that's like an open mic.
There's no one there. You know. Like,
of course not.
Yeah.
I went up 8th last night, and it was supposed to be a show of 3, and it turned into a show of 8. Don't even fucking get me started. I went up 8th, and I was supposed to do 20 minutes, and by 10 minutes in, there's people just leaving. We're fucking tired.
Wait, did you do an open mic last night?
No, I did a show in Kingsport.
And there's 8 comics?
Yeah. We'll talk.
And you were doing 20 minutes?
Yeah, we'll talk.
How long was everyone else doing?
It varied. It started out as 3. On the flyer, there were 3. And then when I showed up, it was like, well, this lady's going to open up with some witty stories that she has. And this guy's never really done stand-up, but he's going to do 5 minutes. And then we're going to have the host.
So it was an open mic.
It felt like one. It wasn't, but it felt like one.
Yeah. But you were talking about the autistic guy and the jokes you made there.
Mm-hmm.
When I did the coffee pot, one of the comedians, Craig Collin, was on that show.
Yeah.
And I'd never met him.
I've heard that name.
And I did my St. Jude's cancer joke. Turns out he's had cancer 6 times.
Wow. Well, then he can find the humor in it more than anybody.
So he found it 6 times as funny? Is that what you're saying?
He went up and did his cancer jokes. I'm like, oh man, I'm probably just.
And you went before him?
Yeah, I went before him.
Oh, that's hilarious. Did he say anything about it?
No, he was a great guy. Just
he should have. He didn't know you well enough, but he should have been like, "What a piece of shit!" Am I right?
No, he's great. Yeah,
that's fun when you know the other comics and you can fuck with them.
Yeah. I don't know if he's got the memo that cancer isn't Pokemon and you don't have to catch them all, but.
I appreciate you working that in. Because he could have just moved on and not said it, but he wanted to get that out.
Yeah, I wanted to get that out.
That's brutal.
No, that's rough.
I love it.
He's great. He's
and the servers would be down while I'm at Daytona Speedway. Call back.
But he's out of Charlotte, and he's fucking great comedian.
That's awesome.
So.
It is fun when you can mess with the other ones. Like last night, because there were so many of us and I knew most of them, I went on stage at the end of the show and I was like, are you guys having a good time? And everybody cheered. I was like, well, you shouldn't be because this show's been fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
And I was like, Meredith's up here talking about this, Jared, Skylar. I was like, this has all been gross.
I saw pictures. I know what show you're talking about now. I saw pictures from it. I didn't know there was 8 fucking people.
It might be 7. There was a lot. The lineup more than doubled from what the
But if you're doing
showed.
20 and other people, Meredith, Jared, they're probably doing 20.
They did 10 each, yeah.
And you're doing 20? Were you headlining over them?
Sure was.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It was a mistake on their part. It was a big mistake.
Hey, but still, that's 40 minutes. That's almost a whole show.
Originally, they weren't on it. So, originally I was doing, and then as he added, I guess he just didn't want to bump me from the end, so he just put them before me, which is fine.
So you closed the show?
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't headline. I just closed the show.
It's technically a headline.
I just kind of surfed on the energy that Meredith and Jared had already set up. It was good.
No,
it was a fun show.
My shows here recently have been good. Like
That's good.
The last show at the old comedy club, the old Blue Ridge, went really well.
That was a great one.
It went way better than it should have, honestly, for what I did.
Yeah.
So
is that when you did Mencia?
Yeah.
Oh my God, did that go good?
I was a ball of nerves.
Michael
the whole
wasn't
time.
there. You were. I've never seen you like that. I was trying to talk to you before the show, and you were like, ha, 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 ha.
Yeah.
Was it a big crowd?
Yeah.
It was a big crowd, and I took a whole bunch of comedians' jokes and rewrote them. I told them beforehand that I was doing it. Like it was all on the up and up.
Whose jokes did you take?
I took Pruitt's, Meredith, Sean Carter. I took a premise from Hunter, and I took the chicken joke from Joe.
Yeah,
we didn't make it.
So funny.
And
what was the Sean joke you took? Was it the statue? Hell yeah,
statue. And listen,
that's his best joke. I don't know if he agrees with that, but that's like my favorite joke.
I got the biggest roar I've ever got when I just started that joke.
It was huge.
Yeah, and even Sean used one of my punchlines that I wrote for it.
Oh really? Oh, that's great.
Yeah, he used the pigeon shit
that's even better.
punchline. in a show later. So that made me that just validated it for me.
Sure,
I just felt way better about it.
Well, the fact that you cleared it with them first too.
Yeah,
It's a cool.
What was the hunter premise you used?
I used the Appalachian accent premise that he used.
The one that blew up?
No.
It was the windshield wiper one that blew up.
And I just took that premise and applied it to Star Trek.
Oh, that's funny.
So but I've never been that nervous before a show. Like he said, like I was
because
not
if you
one to
bomb
talk
on
to.
other people's jokes,
100%, 100%.
I was like, "Are you all right?" And you're like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
And I was like, "That's not a yes."
Yeah,
the chicken joke's funny too. What Meredith joke did you do?
The one about sex with guys being like movie trailers.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good. I love that joke.
Yeah, I used that one.
She crushed with that last night.
Yeah,
that's a funny joke.
It's a really good joke, and I got a really good laugh from what I did to it.
Yeah,
so
that's a clever joke. I don't think I've ever told Meredith. That's a very clever joke.
That's one of my
Meredith
favorites.
has. Yeah,
that's awesome, man. Well, so no dates coming up. You're at Blue Ridge.
Yeah. I'm at Blue Ridge doing the open mics. I know they're not going to have one this week.
There's not an open mic this week.
No, they're putting the sprinkler system in.
2 weeks off.
2 weeks off. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, good. I couldn't make it this week, so it makes me feel better about missing.
Yeah. It's going to be done soon. So everybody, if you're still listening to this, please follow and check out Blue Ridge Comedy. Also, we love them dearly. They've been on the show. They're a huge part of our podcast and the family.
Whole reason we're here
is Blue Ridge. So go support the new club.
Follow me on Instagram, Michael Rose Comedy, and on Threads. I have started posting a little bit on Threads. Nathaniel is NLB_423. And the podcast is Talkin' Bits Pod.
Yeah.
Yep. Talkin' Bits Pod. Don't Tell Tri-Cities also. Follow that. When this comes out, there'll be a show tomorrow. So check us out. That show is going to be back in downtown Johnson City. It's a venue we've been to before, and they're awesome. Our headliner is coming from Asheville, and he's bringing 2 Asheville favorites with him.
Oh,
so
cool.
It's going to be
and one of our guests is coming from that show soon. So
that's true. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what week that comes out, but because we have a couple things in the works, we're backlogging because your boy's traveling a bit.
Later,
but it'll be even later than that. I don't know. Doesn't matter. We'll go over that.
Yeah.
But we love you all. Follow us.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.